What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. Now, in today's video, I've got two fantastic revenge stories for you. The second involves a pretty horrible boss, but the first is about an evil twin and how the other twin gets revenge. Fate helped me get back at my brother. My brother is 23, we're twins, and he is so mean. He's constantly doing messed up stuff to me. I'm a 23-year-old female, but the worst thing happened 5 years ago. I got my first boyfriend when I was 18 and a senior in high school. I know we were young, but I really loved him. We'd been dating for 10 months when my brother randomly decided, for literally no reason at all, to make up a story about how he caught me cheating and tell it to my boyfriend. He planned it all out. He came up with the details, he made it sound real, and because he's such a scarily good liar and a master manipulator, my boyfriend believed him. No matter what I said or did to prove it wasn't true, he believed my brother over me. My brother kept up with his act the entire time and refused to admit he was lying. At one point, I thought I'd finally gotten my boyfriend to believe me, but then he broke up with me a few months later and confessed it was because he was still convinced I cheated on him and he couldn't move past it. He said, "The worst part is that you won't just tell me the truth." And not to sound dramatic, but that still haunts me. I want to cry every time I think about it. And I still miss him to this day. Also, I think it's important to note that my brother has never once apologized. He's so insanely mean that he just thinks it's funny. I even asked him once if he'd consider hitting my ex up and telling him the truth for my peace of mind, and he just laughed at me. I never got over what my brother did, and I always told myself I was gonna do the exact same thing to him one day. He's dated several girls since high school, but he'd never been serious enough about any of them for me to consider tricking them. I knew it wouldn't hurt him like it hurt me if I just tricked one of his flings or something. But he finally got his first serious girlfriend last year, and after thinking about it for a long time, I decided I was gonna do it. We live in different places now, so I had to do it all online. I used a different method than he did. I contacted his girlfriend, pretending to be the girl he'd been cheating with. I made up an elaborate detailed story like he did to me, and even photoshopped proof and stuff. I made my story even more believable than he made his. And exactly like he did to me, I went as far as denying it even to him because I knew he might use my texts or calls to prove to his girlfriend that it wasn't true. He knew I was behind it though, solely because the girl I made up doesn't exist and there's no one else that would do it. But I kept denying it. His girlfriend wholeheartedly believed me, and my brother kept calling and texting me, begging me to give it up, even though I still wouldn't admit it was me. He was manipulating me and arguing that it's different because I was younger when he did it to me, and my relationship wasn't serious. But my relationship was serious, and like I said, I still miss my ex. My brother really messed me up. I have empathy though. He doesn't, and I was starting to feel bad for his girlfriend because she's innocent. I was kind of regretting everything and thinking that maybe I should just tell his girlfriend the truth, for her sake, not his. But then, his girlfriend asked me a question which led to her admitting that she's been suspicious of him for a long time. So I pried a little bit and encouraged her to look through his phone. She told me she couldn't because she didn't know the passcode and he wouldn't give her access to it. I guessed a few passcodes I thought it could be and gave them to her under the guise of seeing it once but not being sure which one I'd seen. That was kind of dumb, but I couldn't think of anything else to say, and she didn't question it. She got in because it ended up being the same passcode he's had since 2012, when our dad got us iPhones and made us use the same passcode. What an idiot. Anyway, lo and behold, it turns out my brother actually cheated on her, and my setup was the reason she found out. He's been talking to and hooking up with multiple girls for pretty much the entirety of their relationship. Insert a lot of exclamation marks right here. I'm not really sure how many that is. At least 25. That's a lot of exclaiming. Oh wow, I can confirm it's actually 28 exclamation marks. Goodness me. I'm not surprised, because he is a terrible person and cheating seems right up his alley. But I'm shocked at the same time. I literally can't believe things worked out this perfectly. It feels like a dream or something. The universe loves me. I hate to revel in his girlfriend's misery, but I was feeling guilty about her being collateral damage. So I feel like this is the best possible outcome. My lie ended up being the truth. Well, not exactly, but you know what I mean. So I didn't scar his girlfriend or leave her with permanent damage for no reason. All my interference did was speed up the process of the truth coming to light. In fact, my brother may have been able to hide his cheating forever if not for me. He probably would have just manipulated his girlfriend and/or refused to give her phone access forever. Now, she hasn't broken up with him, and I'm honestly not sure if she will. I don't know how relevant that is, but it attests to how manipulative he is. He screws people over all the time, but somehow always gets his way anyway. It's honestly infuriating and scary. Anyway, I'm still not going to admit to my brother that I'm behind it all, because there's really no point. That would just get me in even deeper trouble. I got a comment on my original post. OP actually posted this story first on r/relationship advice that said, "Deny till you die, baby." And that's exactly what I'm planning on doing. Overall, life's crazy. Now, as revenge goes, I think we can all agree here that that was so deserved, and it couldn't have gone much better. I mean, doing the same exact thing to your brother that he did so horribly to you before, but this time it's actually uncovering that he is really cheating, and it's outing him as a cheater and potentially saving his girlfriend loads of time and, commitment, because she's now realizing, oh wait, he's actually been cheating on me with loads of different girls throughout our relationship. That's incredible. Like, can revenge go any better than that? Not only was it deserved in the first place, but the repercussions are amazing. It's astonishing. Now moving on to our second story, the great Arbys Avalanche. In my high school years, I had a typical high school job as a fast food worker at Arbys. Most of the job was very easy and surprisingly fun, unless there was a real idiot manager that happened to be working that day. Well, this is a story about revenge on a boss or manager. Our store had a real gem female manager that was very out and open about her hating men. She was a lesbian, nothing wrong with that, and made it very clear to all males they absolutely did not matter to her. She'd give females extra breaks, allow them to be late, give them free food, etc. The males, on the other hand, were treated like actual piles of dog doo-doo. The manager would leave us alone during busy times and sit in her car. She would take an insane amount of smoke breaks and then whine and complain at us when she'd come back and things would be all backed up. Eventually, several months of her garbage attitude and clear hatred got the best of me, and one day I had enough and I hatched a plan. Arbys, at that time, used to take call ahead orders on large workplace or party orders. People would call in and say they needed X amount of sandwiches for a luncheon. These call-in orders didn't need to be verified in any way. Anyone could call these in. I heard a different manager one time explain to someone that if someone were to call in a $300 order and ditch the order, he'd probably get fired for allowing that much beef to get wasted. The roast beef product at Arbys is treated like gold. One day, I knew this manager was working with me, and I executed my plan. About halfway through the shift, I used the bathroom and texted a friend that was willing to help me. I simply texted him, "It's go time." My buddy then calls our store and puts in an order for 200 roast beef sandwiches, which at that time would be about $300 to $350. This didn't affect me whatsoever because I was on drive-thru that day and didn't need to make the food. My manager immediately gets fuming that she had to make all this food and starts the process. After about an hour, she gets finished and goes on a tirade about how stupid everyone at that store is. Over the next 2 hours, it was next to impossible for me to hold in my laughter, as I could tell she was growing very angry and worried that the order was never getting picked up. I started noticing her making phone calls to other managers and upper management people about what the heck to do with 200 roast beef sandwiches. Eventually, it was time for me to clock out and go home, so I did. Over the next several times I worked there, I noticed I was not with this idiot manager anymore. In fact, I never saw her ever again. She either quit or was fired. I guess I'll never know. Alright, first of all, great revenge. There is no need to be sexist in the workplace, especially if you're a manager and you're overseeing a lot of employees. How can you just blindly, choose the females over the males and give all the females like breaks and free food and just disregard the males? Doesn't seem fair to me, doesn't seem equal. Secondly though, I have to say, and this is the main thing that I've taken away from that story, is that actually the policy of Arbys? You don't have to verify a massive order like that. I'm pretty sure that makes zero sense, because surely you'd have to put like a deposit down or a down payment or give some sort of verification, because it's quite a large order, you know, $300 worth of food. And if that goes to waste, as we've seen in this story, it's not going to be good for anyone, really, is it? So the fact that there was no way of like verifying that the order was actually made by a legit person, not a prankster, someone who actually was going to use and eat the food, that's, I'm not going to lie, a problem on Arbys' behalf. Do you not reckon though, guys? Like, it's a bit weird that Arbys wouldn't have, you know, a policy in place to make sure that the identification of the person buying that big stock was confirmed, and that, you know, they weren't just scamming you or pranking you or getting their revenge on you. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of r/ProRevenge. Guys, actually, the other day, I released a full movie, 1 hour 40-ish, of my best revenge stories from the past year or so. If you haven't seen it, boom, have a watch of that. If you've got some free time, great stories in there. I've literally cherry-picked the best, the most satisfying, the most exciting, the most funny, even the most dark stories are all in that, you know, long movie. So please do go and check it out. If you are new to the channel, subscribe as well, hit this button, and turn notifications on so you never miss one of my daily videos. With that all being said, guys, I will see you all tomorrow.